Welcome everybody, back today with some more workflow action, and of course today we want to go with the crucial workflow, which is of course Angry Birds Rio. So I want to let you know my strategies for getting through all of these different levels, but somebody actually mentioned to me that maybe it's not Angry Birds that you're interested in, but actually maybe figuring out my content strategies and how I go about creating content. So, okay, if you insist. See you later, Angry Birds, and hello, iThoughts HD. This is a fabulous program, and it's in particularly fabulous for one very specific reason. The reason is that because of the nature of mind mapping, I've never, ever found it useful at all to create any sort of mind maps on computer. It just didn't seem natural to me. There was no flow. There was no anything with regards to any of it. It just was useless to me. Mind mapping on the iPad, however, changed everything because it added that tactile part of which I'm convinced is a crucial part of mind mapping. The feeling that you're actually doing something, that you are physically touching and doing something. And so, again, the iPad has become a crucial tool for mind mapping, and it comes at the crux of all of my content creation from now on. And we're getting to the point where we are really starting to churn through. Now, before I say another word, I have to give credit where credit is due. And this entire process, really, I came up with none of it. It was something that I learned from this following website. Max Sparky and the Power Users, the Mac Power User podcast, just here, are absolutely crucial, and I credit them for everything that I'm about to show you. Between the screencast, the lessons, and this website, is completely where I got this process from. So I bring nothing to the table. But I suppose what I want to do is, explain it from the perspective of us as being online business and information marketers, and how we can adapt this process to create content. And that's what I'm going to do for you today. And I use iThoughts HD because it outputs in OPML. What is OPML? Well, I encourage you to read that article because it probably does a far better explanation of anything than anything I can say or do on this call. But we'll talk about it and we'll come back and again show you again. So let's get started. This is actually a mind map that I'm going to be creating for the Dominish 2011. So it's a new product we've got coming out very shortly. The first thing that I do, and you can see I've got the time up there, it's now 10:16 a.m. Again, this will be a hell of a lot slower because I'm talking you through it, but it really just is such an efficient process once you get and understand it. So let's start. So the first thing is this is going to be called the biggest mistake. And press save. Gives me a big white border here with a big circle in the center of my mind map. If you're not familiar with mind maps, they're just a great way of organizing your thoughts. And again, just for reference material, the people who created, or the person who really invented the whole mind mapping concept, was a guy called Tony Buzan. All right, let's get started. So the first thing that we need to create is our first branch. And I do that by typing the first, the button up here just to the right-hand side of the biggest mistake headline. And that gives us our first child. And that reminds me, a couple little setup things I do, which have got nothing to do with any productivity whatsoever, but I like it. I put the Keep Organized button on, and this is thanks to Danny B, I put the rainbow on because that's just how I roll. And I also, and this is a sort of an acknowledgement to my mentor, Gary Halbert, I always use the yellow lined paper. I just feel a little bit better that way. So I use that as well. So let's get cracking. So I just double tap to type. Now, the trick, the super great trick about all of this is that you don't want to take your hands off the iPad. And one of the greatest moves, and what really is fabulous about iThoughts HD, is if I want to create another sibling, another sort of one that is on an equal footing, all I have to do is tap return 3 times. Boom. Automatically created. And of course, if you want to do a child to this, you just tap the spacebar 3 times. So as you can see here, I'm just typing away, and it just makes it very simple as you're going through it. To me, it's a very, very smooth process. I don't have to think about it. I just did a 3 tap return there to create another section, and just keep typing away. And so what I'm going to do here is fill out the rest of this. You can see how I'm doing it, and as I keep going, I just triple return whenever I find something. And then if I want to create a new tab off the back of that, I would hit the space bar 3 times, and that would create it. I just hit another return there. I'll just fast forward this little section so you can have a look at us there. You just saw me do a space bar right there. So let's fill the rest of this out. So I've just created one single branch here. And the trick with mind mapping is to just go with whatever you are thinking about and getting through a flow first. Typically, I don't now because it would be annoying to you and probably bust a dozen copyright laws. Typically, I've got music that I am playing, and I got a great tip from a recent Back to Work podcast. This wonderful podcast, which I just totally recommend to everybody. Great piece of advice that if you are going to be listening to music while you're doing something, make sure it's music that you love and that you've listened to 1,000 times before, because I know I have made the mistake. This is a great little tip. I've made the mistake of when I go through my iTunes, see, I've got Cool But Unloved recently. These are songs that I've rated as 5 stars, but no comments. As you can see, I'm nothing if not eclectic. But I haven't listened to a while, and when I listen to this podcast, when I'm trying to do mind maps, it jars me because I keep thinking, oh, that's a cool song, that's a cool song. Whereas if I play another smart playlist, which I've got, which is my top rated, these are ones that are more that I've recently played, and so I've played them many times. And in fact, you can set up a smart playlist if you want to play only songs that you've listened to at least 20 or 30 times. Great little tip there. Key thing when we're doing mind maps is, of course, these are just little prompters. I will obviously expand all of these points, but the idea is to get this stuff down on paper as quickly and as efficiently as you can. So it's just stream of consciousness. I don't spell check. I don't correct. I just throw it all down because I will look at it and edit it many times over the course of creating this content. So there you go. I've created this outline, this entire mind map. Now it's taken me that's probably taken me a lot longer than it usually would because I'm sort of explaining as I go. But it's taken me about 20 minutes to flesh out that section. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm now going to click the little arrow button here, and I am going to send to Dropbox. And this is crucial. I'm going to send it as an OPML file. And go into my mind maps area, and I'm going to use that folder. and there it's uploaded, which is great because now I'm able to use this in a bunch of different apps. I can take this directly into Scrivener, or I can also put it into other apps such as Omni Outliner. I can also send this as an email, and you see that it's created it as an outline, and it gives an OPML, it gives the actual iThoughts line, and it gives a JPEG, different JPEG pictures, which I love. So it sends all those formats. Now, in other videos, I'm going to show you how we can also take this file and use it for writing. We can use it for video production. We can use it for podcasting. We can use it for everything. Now that we have this structure in place, you can imagine how much easier it is to create content. I could take all of this and probably in about 15, 20 minutes, dictate an awesome article based on all of this. In fact, that's what I'll probably do, because it's all chunked up. And now, I'll literally be able to walk around the room and dictate, and I just hold the mind map in my on my iPad. I wander around the room with my Bluetooth headset and record and get the guts of everything down. So much of content creation is just getting it down. It's rubbish. I'm sure many of you are horrified by, the gay abandon on which I did this. But trust me, this goes through many iterations. By the time you see this in Dominish 2011, it will be super polished and it'll be a beautiful looking Prezi presentation. But right now it's getting it done. And what you don't realize, and why I'm not afraid to show you guys this, is that you've got to see where it starts. And most people's content, when it starts, is crap. I don't care who you are. And I want this to be freeing to you, that this content is truly rubbish when it starts out. But by the end, it'll be polished. Trouble is, as consumers, we never see all the polishing. You never see all the myriad of editing processes. So as we're going through this, I want to show you guys what those processes are like. But it always starts here. It starts in iThoughts HD. All right, gang. Speak soon.